Hey everybody, gonna do a patch review. The balance patch is here. I haven't read it aside from the first line because obviously I had to somehow get this on my screen and my eyes wouldn't look away. But I have not read any other information about it. I don't know what's on the patch. I don't know what got buffed, what got nerfed. I'm gonna give you my honest review and hopefully it'll be unbiased because I haven't read anything about it yet. Of course, I'm always biased, but whatever. Anyway, without further ado, let's get into it. Okay, first line. Wind Jack-o'-lantern. Okay, people have been kind of complaining about it. I think this probably is for Siege. Creates a shield for 1 turn on allies when you're attacked. Creates a shield for 1 turn on allies, excluding yourself when you're attacked. Okay, so it just weakens it. It gives it a weakness, aka it protects other people but not itself. Seems kind of reasonable. I assume that's a Siege change. All right, Occult Girl Dark. Attacks 5 times down to 4 times. Finally. So they nerfed Nikki. I'm mad about it. But also, I predicted this. Nikki was definitely going to get nerfed. She was too strong. So basically, I don't know, depends if that, what it doesn't say is that whether that lowered the damage. If that's the same damage but 1 less hit, this is a pretty minor nerf. It's just less additional scaling. Not too bad. We'll see if that changes it. I don't know if that's actually going to be enough to nerf it. If it actually nerfed it by 20% damage, this is a big nerf. If it's 1 extra or 1 less additional hit, it's a whatever nerf. But she only kind of needed a whatever nerf, so who knows. All right, Battle Angel Light, Veronica, got nerfed again. Increases all enemy skill cooldown by 2 turns. Goes to increases enemy target skill cooldown by 2 turns. Other enemies by 1 turn. So they actually turned her into the water hacker, kind of. I mean, a stronger water hacker, but still water hacker. Okay, so this is a pretty sizable nerf. Now you can violent proc out of it. You can still guarantee the one that you definitely are scared of, but everyone else can violent proc. So this is actually pretty big nerf. Also, I'd like to say once again, I called it. So finally, Veronica got hit again. Whether it's going to be enough, I don't know. It's still really good, right? But I don't think this kills her. But this is really kind of a big nerf. Okay, all Dokkaebi Lords stun chance on skill 1 goes down to 30 or from 30 to 15%. Okay, so this is kind of a Gapsoo nerf, but it nerfs everybody. I'm not sure all the other Dokkaebis needed that nerf, but whatever. Okay, Dark Dokkaebi Lord, Gapsoo, his passive increases attack bar by 10%, up to 30% per turn whenever the enemy recovers the HP. So he can only get 30% bar per turn. I don't know, unknown to me is, does that mean like per cycle? Like he has to take a turn and then he can't gain anymore? Or does this mean like if you AE heal, he only gets 30% instead of 40%? Or even... Because if it's only like a 25% nerf, basically from a 40% max to a 30% max, then it's not that crazy. I mean, it is a 25% less ATB gain like every time you AE heal, which is most of the heals. So, but if it's 30% between each of his turns, then this is kind of a big deal because he actually caps out. All right. Water Dokkaebi Lord, Giant's Bat, absorbs attack bar by 30%, goes to 40% if your max HP is higher than the target. I actually don't remember. One sec. Did it always have that condition? I'm not actually a big Water Dokkaebi Lord user, so. Oh, okay. He always had that condition, so that's not a nerf. This is just a straight buff. Okay. So just steals more. Steals more ATB. Okay, so that's pretty good because he was already pretty nice. Okay, Fire Dokkaebi Lord. So he's definitely going to become even more meta. Like he was always that one of those units that was like everyone said he was OP, but then like only a few people were really using him. So now I think a lot more people are going to be using him. It's kind of a buff to CC cleave. He's a high base speed unit. Sick. Okay, Fire Dokkaebi Lord. A very underused unit. Increases the damage you deal in proportion to the enemy's destroyed HP. Okay, so that's just a straight buff. So it doesn't say how much extra damage. If it's like, also is it global? Like the total amount of? I assume it's going to be based on the enemy's destroyed HP, like the one you're actually attacking. Maybe there's going to be some cool Water Bison Fire Dokkaebi Lord, just the thick boys destroying all the HP and like trucking people, because then you reduce their damage and you increase your damage against them. All right, big one for me. Light Dokkaebi Lord, and buff the passive again. When an ally attacks an enemy, increase crit damage by 100% if they have no beneficial effects. Now is when an ally attacks an enemy, increases the crit damage by 100%. So they got rid of the condition. So he's just a straight up crit damage buff. I'm trying to. So I mean, that's good. That's real good. I mean, getting rid of the conditions is big. Because now, like one of the things I tried with it was Wind Cassandra, and like you basically use Light Dokkaebi Lord with crit rate based units to get like free crit damage units. Basically, it just pumps your stats a lot because you don't need a lot of times you don't need like a 300 crit damage unit. You need a 200 crit damage unit with 100 crit rate. So now you can run crit rate units with like a ton more attack and stuff. Okay, so this is cool. This is a really fun one. I'm definitely gonna give him another try just based off of this because like I really like I like the concept of the Light Dokkaebi Lord Uldong, and this maybe will make him slightly more usable. Like I'm not sure that in practice if this will matter for RTA anyway, but it's a cool buff without actually like making his numbers bigger. All right, Firelight Ivor. So Light Ivor, before I read it, is currently considered at the high level of RTA to be kind of busted. So this might be a nerf to it a bit. Okay, so changes it from it absorbs attack bar 50% down to 30%, and then it goes from 50% down to 30% if the enemy's under like extra damage if they're under an ability. So that's basically a Light Dokkaebi Lord nerf. They also nerf, or sorry, Light Dokkaebi Lord, Light Ivor. It's a Light Ivor nerf, but and then they don't care because Fire Ivor is like whatever. So that is a Light Ivor nerf, and then they also probably the next line is a Fire Ivor buff. So this is probably a buff to Fire Ivor to make up for it. Increases the damage dealt to your turn by 50% up to from 150 to 200% if you don't get attacked. Okay, so they basically nerfed Harpoon Impalement and then buffed Fire Ivor. So basically they nerfed the S2 to nerf Light Ivor, and then they buffed Fire Ivor to make up for it a little bit. Okay. Okay, Water Devil Maiden. Ooh, this is big. I know a man named Janito who's going to be very happy about this, that there's a buff for Water Devil Maiden. Removes one beneficial effect from the enemy, now removes a beneficial effect and absorbs its entire attack bar. So if you're Go S1, you potentially strip it, put that man in a box, steal its entire attack bar, and then get to go again. Oh, that's actually pretty sick. Because even when it gets out of the box, it's not going to get to move. Okay, that's actually nice. That might be enough to make it useful. Like, it was already kind of cool, but maybe this is enough. I don't know. We'll see. That's a neat change. I'm glad that they gave her a buff that isn't like, I don't know. It's supposed to be a CC unit, and maybe this will make it better because you're going to eat 5% of its HP, like just from that extra bar. Okay, Dark Shadowcaster. This guy has been like on the verge of being kind of cool for a long time, and he just never made it. Okay, I'm going to move this up. Okay, so I can read the whole thing. Okay, now his passive. The target with the Shadow Trap gets its attack speed 40% decreased, and your attack speed gets faster by the reduced attack speed. So you just straight up steal its attack speed so you cycle more. Which actually is kind of cool because theoretically it means you might be able to cycle more before it gets its turn. So it's a pseudo ATB game that doesn't keep it completely from moving. So like if you use it on a 0 ATB unit, you're going to cycle a few times before you finally steal its turn. I mean, that's cool. Like it's like a soft CC in addition to the fact that you steal its turn, which is kind of the hard CC. All right, Chimera Dark, Zeratu. Okay, so I have Zeratu, and I was so disappointed when I got him because I just couldn't use him. So maybe this is time. Also, this is an inherent Ababo nerf no matter what's on this line, pretty much, if it's a buff. So beware what you've unleashed. Okay, so it's passive. Removes one beneficial when you land a crit. Now removes beneficial with no specific conditions, which who cares? Everyone builds him on 100 crit rate. And then heals him by 10% when the turn ends. So it turns him into a bruiser. But you still want him to have max crit rate. So I don't think the first line matters at all. So that's basically doesn't matter. So in reality, this is just a recovers HP by 10% when the turn ends. So he self-heals. Okay, so maybe their vision, like their power fantasy for Zeratu was that he's a bruiser. I mean, it's still extra healing. Like he's one of those units that can take a game over in solo. So maybe it is good. Okay, so it didn't buff his damage, but it didn't. I don't know. I'm not sure. This is a buff, but it's like I'm not sure it's the buff I would have given it. All right, Geralt. I gotta just. All right, Wind Geralt. Passive on the Wind one. Effect added. Decreases the cooldown of Dancing Star by 1 turn if you have 2 or more beneficial effects after the turn ends. So let's take a look at what it currently is. because this is a unit no one has used and has never read probably. So whenever you grant harmfuls, you get buffs. Okay, so basically, he self grants buffs. So this is gonna make when Geralt starts just spamming, it's gonna make it this guy's gonna basically get to spam his the bomb skill. I mean, it's not a very good skill though, so I mean, but maybe it makes him good. I don't know. This is cool. Like, I mean, still, like, any decreased cooldown is always pretty fun. Whether or not it makes him useful, I don't know. Okay, Fire Geralt Igni. I believe that's the third skill with the stun. Yeah, so he has a 50% chance. He had a 50% chance to stun. Now it's a 70% chance, and it doesn't increase with skill ups. So stun chance 50 to 70. This just makes him more likely to stun. He hits a lot of times, though. He hits 3 times with stun chances on each, I believe. So this actually makes him very likely to stun. All right, Light Geralt. You lose 1 adrenaline and increase your attack bar by 30% to 50%. So the way he works is that whenever you attack, it builds up. And then you lose adrenaline stacks whenever you get attacked. So now, okay, so it gave 30% bar before, now it's 50%. So basically every time you hit him, after he started moving, he's going to get 50% bar instead of 30%. It's kind of sick. Okay, Dark Geralt. Increase harmful effect activation by 10% to 20% for every beneficial effect. So he starts with that same S2, Dancing Star, which has a 60% chance to stun. Sorry, it has a 60% chance to install a bomb after skill ups and a 40% chance to stun. So now 2 buffs will make it be 100% bomb chance and a 80% stun chance. With 3 buffs, he'll be an automatic stun as well. Okay, so it just basically means that now with 3 buffs, so you bring a 3 buffer and he's a AE stun. So he basically gets AE Puppeteer install bomb skill with 3 buffs. Okay, I mean that might make him useful. I mean, it is basically, it's a pseudo 2-turn CC, but it didn't increase his damage, so the rest of his passive's kind of lame. I mean, honestly, that his kit's still, I don't think that useful. But, I mean, that many debuffs, like that many bombs and stuns and stuff is kind of cool. The problem is they still have Juno, so we'll see. All right, Light Siri attacks once, turns into twice. The damage is adjusted to the change in number of attacks. So Light Siri, what skill is that? Flash Step? Okay, so that's Light Siri's 3rd skill. After attacking on your turn, attacks additionally. So I'm not sure what the why twice matters here, unless they want her to scale with additionals. Because now she triple hits on every hit, so maybe they're just like, oh, she can be fast and built on additionals. I'm not sure this matters. Maybe it's because like the second hit will have increased damage due to the passive, so like it sort of inherently makes her do more damage. Anyway, maybe a buff, we'll see. Light Siri, that's kind of a weird one. They didn't buff any of the other series though. That's very strange to me. I don't think the rest of them are in a good spot, so them only buffing the LD is kind of weird. Come on, where's Light Siri? All right, let's keep going. Fire Hollyberry Cookie. The shield decreases attack speed by 30%. Now your attack speed stays at 100 until the next turn starts. So now that's actually kind of awesome. Okay, so now this is actually huge because now you can build her on Swift and then she goes down to 100 speed. Okay, that's actually kind of awesome. Like Swift Fire Cookie into additional damage cleave is going to be wild. You just build her on speed def on Swift, make her like 320 speed. Basically, like, if they're not faster than you, you just go and then, that's actually sick. This might be the coolest buff so far. This is amazing. I think this is going to be wild. I think you're going to see this a lot. Like, people who pick, like, you know, Robo Chung Pung, not me, of course, are going to be so sad. It's actually just incredibly strong. Wow. Okay, Fire Pudding Princess. Our friend who kills more CC cleave, getting buffed. Gain immunity against inabilities, increases HP recovered by 40% to 15%. So they nerfed her healing, But they also made it so you can't stun her. On Fire Pudding Princess. I don't know that matters. Gains immunity against an ability, so you can't stun her or CC her or whatever. So you're always gonna, she's gonna always put that shield up and heal. So you can't, but she doesn't heal as much. I don't know. It's kind of, I don't know, that maybe that's good. I don't know. You don't have to build her on resistance anymore though, pretty much. So that might be fine. I don't know. I don't know if that's gonna make her get more play, honestly. All right, Fire Ifrit. Tessarian. What? A Tessarian buff 2024? Increases Oblivion duration to 3 turns if the enemy is already under Oblivion. But then they nerfed his damage. So basically they made him an even better Oblivioner. So basically he Oblivions, and then you can keep Oblivioning them, and then they can never get out of it. Okay, so he's just the best Oblivioner. That's cool. If I think that's better than the damage. It also makes him not unmanageable to snipe if you're like trying to like counter him. All right, Light Ifrit. His passive absorbs enemies' attack bar by 20%. So basically now he also steals ATB. Okay, that's sick because he's already built on Swift. So he's going to be cycling a lot, and this makes him cycle more. Okay, so El Sharian meta 2024. We're also big fan of that. Okay, Water Paladin. Shield him out. They buffed Josephine again. I don't like that. We need to, that's disgusting. I don't like that at all. All right, well anyway, water Paladin buff, Josephine, her shield got bigger. So now into stun cleave. So now every time I draft Dark Geralt, we're gonna get Josephine. That's cool. Let's see, Hell Lady, Water Light, Gouge. Deals 50% increased damage to enemies under continuous effects, now as harmful effects. So now she doesn't have to set herself up. So Water Hell Lady actually, or Water Hell Lady, this is a big buff to Water Hell Lady, not such a big buff to Asima, because Asima already has the continuous damages. Beast Monks, skill 1, always crits. That's actually amazing. So now they're basically always going to strip and have, yes. I think the whole point of the Beast Monk was that when they stripped, or sorry, when they crit, is when their strip chance happens. So now you can build it on crit damage, no crit rate, for the DPS ones anyway. And then, oh no, hold on. That they removed that. Okay, so it doesn't need to crit to strip anymore. They just made it so it always crits. Okay, so that's just like, okay, this isn't a crazy big buff then, it's just a little one. All right, whatever. All right, ooh, Light Desert Queen, uh-oh. Okay, I don't even want to read it because I know I'm gonna be disappointed. Okay. Effect order change. Silence and then Oblivion, now Oblivion, and then Silence. Okay, so this is sort of big. This basically is only a buff against Juno. So this is a very small Juno. This is basically to fight Juno, because what would happen before is that you would Silence, and then Juno would get the speed buff, and then it would get Oblivion, and then it's like, who cares? Because it would just cycle out of it. Okay. All right, Dark Desert, no, sorry, not Dark Desert Queen. Dark Totemist, Maya, decreases HP of all enemies granted with harmfuls by 15 to 20%. So a small Maya buff, probably not enough, but you never know. Oh, okay. That's a small buff. I think it can be fine. Okay, Dark Anubis. He's been buffed / changed like a lot of times, and they've never made him good, so maybe this will be the time. Deadly Wrath. Your attack bar will be increased by 50% if an ally or enemy gets defeated while the skill is on cooldown. That could be cool. So that's his third skill, which I think they made greedier recently, right? Let's see. Blah, blah, blah. Deals damage, brands, creates a shield. The skill cooldown time of Deadly Wrath is reset if an ally or enemy gets defeated, is what it had before. Now they also added your attack bar is increased by 50%. So basically they made it so like if people start dying, that skill starts going off more. Okay, that's cool. So remember, in addition, it also the cooldown of the skill gets reset whenever something dies. So basically this makes it more likely to be usable, or to make more able to be used. It's 4-turn cooldown, so it's a pretty long cooldown skill. All right, Ryu Strikers, Shoryuken. This is Fire, Wind, Dark, which has the S2 that I believe brands. Hadouken will be activated in succession with a 30 to 50% chance. So now they made the chance of it chaining into S1 higher. So I think this is this is a Douglas buff. I mean, honestly, it's a buff to all of them. I mean, it is obviously a buff to all of them. Okay, that's cool. It makes them have a higher chance of doing some cool damage. That's nice. So small buff, but it's kind of nice. Fire Magic Knight. Okay, so I guess we're done with Nat 5s now. Fire Magic Knight. Attack speed increases, your HP gets lower, your attack power increases for 1 turn if you receive damage. So now she doesn't go faster, it's just she gets attack buff. So PvE bonus, maybe? I don't know. I don't know if that's good or bad. I'm not sure I care about that either way. Okay, Fly. Gain another turn with a 20% chance after using this skill. Fly is that the Fire Went Dark? Which one's Fly? Let's look. Water, Fire, Light. Oh, sorry. Fly's the armor break. I was thinking it was on the dark one. I was like, I don't remember the dark one having the armor break. Okay, so basically makes it have a violent chance when it uses S2. When dark, Fever Time. So basically they get a violent chance on their S2s. All 5 of them get a violent chance on S2. Fire Sky Dancer. Oh, okay. So that's just a brownie buff. Okay, so it's just a buff. Sky Dancer Fire. Increases the attack of all allies by 10% every time you attack the enemy with defense decrease. So she defense breaks on a lot of times on her skill. So, like, I say a lot. It's a good number of times, like 5 or something. It's like 4 or 5 times. So potentially she can give everybody 50% attack bar if she's hitting one thing. That's cool. So kind of good for PvE. Maybe some PvP usage, but not sure. Okay, Water Barbaric King. So they buffed the barbarians. So they nerfed the max HP decrease. Now it's just defense is decreased by 30%. Oh, we're gonna have to like. I'm gonna have to. Okay, we'll see. This is gonna get jank. Okay, so the Barbaric Kings, basically they make it so that instead of decreasing their max HP, they get decreased defense. Okay, whatever. I'm not sure that's a nerf or a buff. Water, Light, Robo. The self-destruct now stuns for 1 turn with a 50% chance. That's cool. Just like a nice little buff. I still don't know if they'll get used that often, but maybe. Fire Pirate Captain, Detonation Shot. Decreases duration of the bomb installed on other enemies by 1 turn. Each decreases the skill cooldown of bombardment by 1 turn if the bomb is set off and gains another turn. Okay, so now he can like combo more with more bombs. That's cool. Like, so there's this kind of neat like thing where you pair him with a bomber and he just starts like setting them off. Okay, that's neat. Dark Fire Captain, Bombardment. Stun chance goes from 75% to 50%. Installs a bomb for 2 turns with a 50% chance when attacking. So now, oh, that's sick. That's really cool. So now Frigate is a bomber. Oh, that's really cool. Oh, that's a high base. Oh, that's sick. Uh-oh. Another Frigate buff? Is this the year of Frigate? Why don't Nat 5s get these buffs? This is cool. All right. Oh, actually, this is probably a nerf. Before I read it, this is probably a nerf to make up for his S2. Full Speed Ahead. Effect added. Decreases the skill cooldown of Full Speed Ahead by 2 turns if an enemy is defeated while the skill's on condition. On cooldown. Okay, never mind. That's just a straight buff. Frigate is OP. Read it now. Frigate is going to be so disgusting and cool. So now Frigate is a better Dark Geralt that also is an attack bar booster. Oh, I can't even. Frigate is so cool now. All right. Okay, Frigate is patch winner. Calling it now before I read anything else. Let's see. Oh, okay. So let's go on to the next one. Despair Seal Rune effects will be changed as follows. When a glancing hit is landed, stun rate is reduced by half. So it's a despair nerf. Okay, so people have been asking for this, sort of. And I mean, not this exact thing. They wanted to go back to how it was before, but now it's halfway in between. Basically, if it glances, now it's like a 12.5% instead of a 25%. So it gives a reason to still play elemental if you're on despair. Like, you know, not drafting fire into water and such. That's fine. Seal Rune. Activation rate goes from 15 to 25%. Sick. So it's That's actually really awesome. And then the same deal applies. When a glancing hit is landed, reduces the rate by half. Okay, so kind of a seal buff-ish. And then, well, actually 100% a seal buff and then a despair nerf. But I mean, it's still buffed compared to its original state. Oh, actually, you know what? Maybe it's nerfed now. I'd have to run the numbers because now you do have the fact that it still only hits on the first hit, you know? All right. Awakening effects. Maybe this is where the series are. When Siri increases accuracy by 25%, goes to increase attack speed by 15%. So when Siri gets the speed awakening instead of the water one. Okay, so we'll have to take a look at Wind Siri now because that's because she had a pseudo CC cleave kind of a setup. Her third skill attacks all enemies, each hit decreasing their attack speed. Afterwards, increases attack bar by 35% in proportion to the number of enemies with slower attack speed than you, which now will be all of them. So she could potentially. So all she did was AE. She didn't push their ATB. All it does is slow them. And maybe, I don't know. I think she's still kind of bad. Not gonna lie. Maybe there's an interaction here that I'm not reading appropriately. But she still seems kind of bad even with a speed awakening. All right, pure vanilla cookie, light. Increases res by 25% to now strengthens love and peace skill. Skill strengthening effect, cooldown time goes from 4 turns to 3 turns. Love and peace, I think is the res. Let's take a look real quick. Also a skill that nobody ever used, or a unit that nobody ever used, so maybe. Wait, yeah, pure vanilla cookie. Okay, so it's same. Those two lines are the same thing: the love and peace skill and soft pudding. What? White pudding princess. Soft pudding skill. Is soft pudding a real skill? What the heck? I'm not seeing that on it at all. Oh, never mind. I got them backwards. Okay. Soft pudding. Actually, that's the S2. Okay, so okay, that's not the res. So now instead of a 3-turn instead of a 4-turn cooldown, now it's a 3-turn cooldown. And then it gets a cooldown reduction in its skill ups. So now this is effectively a 2-turn skill. So basically, you're going to be able to recover HP by 15% and create a shield equal to 20% of max HP every other turn with the pudding princesses, or with the light pudding princess. So it makes her into kind of a sick healer. A lot of sustain there. Okay, Water Hell Lady. Increases accuracy by 25%. Now makes her S2 do continuous damages. I think that's bad, because I think I'd rather have the accuracy awakening, because that makes her S3 better. I don't know, maybe this is good, but I think this is bad. So Water Hell Lady got buffed, but actually nerfed, I think. All right, Wind Beast Rider. Increases res by 25%, now increases accuracy by 25%. So we're going to see Savannah come back probably. At least a little bit. That's a big change. Finally, they're killing some of these resistance awakenings. Skydancer Wind increases res by 25%. Now strengthens a muse. Skill strengthening effect grants immunity for 2 turns to target allies with a full HP. If it heals first and then gives them 2 turns immunity, this is actually kind of sick. So maybe Chasun back in the meta, because now we have another immunity buffer. Kind of awesome. All right, Magic Knights. Base attack speed up by 5. So that's actually kind of big. That now makes the speed awakening ones are up to 110 base speed, which is pretty good. So it goes from 105 base speed, which is as slow as a lot of normal units, you know, like Veronica, or, you know, like Oliver, right? They're like 105 base. Now the fast Magic Knights are like 110. So yeah, we're maybe gonna see Iris. Ooh, that's cool. That's cool. I would love to see the Magic Knights get real play again. Barbaric King Fire Dark, or you just stats to improve monster performance. So basically more attack power probably versus less HP. Okay, Light Hacker. So this is just changes now. So fix an issue with the skill not activating properly. Okay, just a change. I don't even know what that issue was. Fix an issue. Okay, I gotta move this. Oh, actually, I'll just move it up. Fix an issue where the skill increase may be on the max cooldown. Okay, so there was a bug with fourth skills and suppression. Okay. Fire Cassandra. Fix an issue where it looked like you were silenced so the second skill was usable after taking fatal bomb damage. So, okay, that's interesting. There was like a bomb bug. And then finally, Shadowcaster's Shadow Protection State being removed due to reflect the damage under the Shadow Protection State. Okay, so there's some kind of reflect damage issue. Okay. Some changes. Okay, so patch winners. Frigate. We're going to see Frigate everywhere. Big nerfs. Funny, they only nerfed Nikki. Oh, they nerfed Nikki. They nerfed Veronica. Okay, so that's big. Dokkaebi Lords. Pretty cool changes there. Nerfed Elite Ivor a little bit. Didn't touch Julianne. Didn't touch Hagang. Didn't touch. Did not touch Light Occult Girl Laura. Water Devil Maiden buff is going to be pretty big. Dark Geralt did get buffed, but I'm not sure it matters. I'm still going to try him again because now you can bring a triple buffer. So we're going to see, like, I'm going to definitely try some of that Lima gameplay again. No more buffs to Dark Triss, sad. Buffs to Josephine, very sad. Beast Monk changes, whatever. Light Desert Queen, whatever. Yeah, Water Dokkaebi Lord, I think we're gonna see him a lot very soon. Gapsoo nerf barely mattered, I think, unless it accumulates between each of his turns. We'll see how that works. Magic Knights are gonna maybe be back. Honestly, that's mostly it. The two nerfs I kind of predicted, buffs to a lot of stuff, but honestly, I'm most excited about Frigate. Frigate is gonna be very cool and fun. Yeah, this is gonna be kind of neat. Yeah, so I don't think Wind Geralt's gonna be any good still, but you never know. Something kind of cool. You could do double pirate captains because now they both bomb. You just like start AE bombing everybody with them. That's kind of neat. Oh yeah, and then sorry, I almost forgot the fire Hollyberry Macaron Guard is, I'm pretty sure, busted. That's going to be like the most CC cleavy counter of all time, pretty much. Because like, imagine you take it into Chung Pung, right? It now has 100 base speed against everyone who has like 300%. They're going to move like 3 times before it moves. If you use any ATB decrease on it, it's just never going to move. Like, you just, okay, you push it back even 20%. That's like, oh, everyone gets to take an extra turn now. Like, it's going to be wild. Like, if you don't bring snipe damage, or, you know, like single target high damage stuff, I'm pretty sure the Macaron Guard is going to be just like a full hard counter to your team. Like, additionals are just very going to have issues now. Dark Chimera buff, wish it could have been a little better. I'm definitely going to use Light Dokkaebi Lord. I don't know, we'll see. There's a lot of cool stuff in here. I'm not sure. Honestly, I'm pretty happy about this patch, mostly because they did nerf Veronica. I'm sad that Nikki got nerfed, but I mean, you know, you're not going to be carried by, I mean, she is an attack unit. She's not a support unit, but like effectively, like she kind of carries you as basically a support unit. Yeah, I think this is cool. I mean, I think this is pretty reasonable. Like, overall, I think this is good. Like, I like that the Water Dokkaebi got another buff to try to bring him back into meta a little bit. I also really want to try Mugwang Fire Dokkaebi Lord, just because depending on how much damage that increases, it could be really nice. All right, that's pretty much it. Good job, good patch. I think overall this is kind of good. I know before anyone says it, people are gonna complain a lot about Hagang. Please get over yourself. The main reason I say that is that while he's oppressive, until they figure out a way to make it so CC Cleave doesn't just win the game like 100% of the time, they needed to do something. So actually, and what's interesting is that may be Fire Macaron Guard. Like if that by itself kills a lot of the teams that are powered by Hagang, then maybe they can nerf Hagang a little bit, because now there's a second viable counter where you don't just lose if you don't pick him, right? I think that's the issue. When there's only one counter to that type of gameplay, you kind of have to, like, you know, There has to be options. So anyway, that's my read through, and thanks everybody for watching, and come complain on stream. See you in the next one.